And it is puzzling that many of them have, of recent, asked that we be Facebook friends. So during course of chatting, I asked her if she was, what she was doing, and whether she was into any religion, and she told me she was an atheist. So I asked her if she's comfortable where she is, and she answered in the affirmative. Well, earlier I told her that I'm an atheist and been an egg for 20-something years, and I'd left. I was doing the new song now, the new presentation, and I asked her what. So she said she was doing the hue and she was comfortable with it, and she's comfortable where she is. So, well, I told her that depending on one's goal and focus, one can be comfortable anywhere. I did not proceed to, in quotes, harass her with what the new presentation is doing, and probably making her believe that she's lost and trapped in the matrix. I just let her be. So I want to ask Duane whether this was a good approach.
Well, every moment is new, Charles. And so again, you know, as people come forward, I'm the same. I don't have a schedule of what I'm going to tell people. It's new every moment. And, you know, just like what you did, you know, you asked her certain things, and if she's fine with that, well, then I'm fine with it too. I'm not a used car salesman. I'm not here to sell people. You know, as people come up and do things, and I know there's ECKs that are my friends, I just click on them, but I don't chase them. I don't even ask them why they're here, etc. But yeah, you know best, and that is that you know, we're all on the same planet. As an example, everything's fine. People make choices. There's already material out there that I'm guessing they've seen. If they haven't, well, then maybe they don't go on Facebook or other things. It's already out there marketing that. So basically only if they start asking questions do I then start to go in those directions. And the bottom line is, you know, ask Paul and Rebazar on the real side. You know, you don't even have to do the new you, just ask them, just ask Rebazar. But then again, what the boys are going to show them, sometimes it's going to be like, you know, you're fine where you are because they're not ready. You know, it's like a 5-year-old child. The parent can see that the child is not ready to drive the car. So, and the child is comfortable where it's at. So, you know, the neighbor can say, oh, gee, is your kid old enough to drive the car yet? And the parent can go, no, he's only 5 years old. He's not old enough to drive the car. So I'm not even going to attempt for him to drive the car. See, so it's kind of like that. So the boys see that too. They see the real side. I look for a person's intent. I look at the real side. And so you kind of, you might say, feel your way along, but you learn to see this through experience. And again, if the person is asking the questions, and then again, we can only take them so far with answers because, you know, it's just like going to school. The student can ask the teacher, well, gee, what is this? What is that? How do, you know, what is biology? What is the environment about? Or what's science? Or, you know, what is math about? But the teacher will answer a few questions, but saying that, well, you got to have to come into the classroom, you're going to have to sit, and it's going to take time for you to learn, to gradually learn these things. So, you know your approach best, and you'll figure it out from there. And yes, I don't bombard people. Most of the time, I'm indifferent to telling them anything at all. But what I have fun doing is that I tell them that I'm Duane the Great Writer, and you'll find me 5 pages on Facebook. And so I give them the opportunity to look at that. And even when people call, or, you know, my creditors or marketing people or whatever, I have fun with that because they've made the call to me. So, but in this situation here, you know best. In other words, no, we're not used car salesmen, but you decide how you're going to do it, Charles. Yes.
Yeah, Duane, like you just said, there's a lot of material out there, and most of them have probably seen it, and maybe they are timidly coming nearer the new presentation without wanting to be too inquisitive, just using some would I say some tricks or what? Because at least before requesting for friendship, they have checked out my profile and they've seen that it is diametrically opposed to what they are doing, and yet they want us to be friends. So I know there is something which will show up at its own time. Yeah, like you say, maybe they are not fully ready, and we shouldn't push them, and we should avoid this used car salesmanship rhetoric.
Also,
So,
let me interject here. There's the other side of the coin too, and that is that now that you have that experience, now for me, what I do is I stand back and objectively look at it. So at first, your personal mind is thinking that, oh, okay, they want to be friends with me because maybe they're looking at what we're doing, or they're inquisitive or something along those lines. You see, again, that personal side. But then again, is it that maybe they, you know, Joni subliminally controls these people through tap lining? And the idea is also to be an infiltrator. Do you see that? That's where we have spies in the world, don't we? So,
yeah.
yeah, but the personal side many times will think, oh no, that can't be it. This is a nice person, you know, but maybe not on a conscious level they're doing it, but all of a sudden, you know, it looks, all of a sudden you start to see, oh, this looks a little funny. Why did they want to be my friend? And all of a sudden, I would say the red flag is they're giving themselves away. Oh, I'm fine with where I'm at. You see, you ask the question, and so they're fine with where they're at, but at the same time, they're standing there looking at you and seeing that maybe in some way they can influence you to what they're doing. There's always that possibility too, isn't there? Seen it many times. And yes, as a radical example, many years ago I saw this where people were demonstrating the G20 meeting in Canada, and all of a sudden the crowd started pointing to people in the demonstration. All these people gathered together, they started pointing to them. They recognized that these were police that were planted in the demonstration to make them instigate harassment. So again, so is this gal that's all of a sudden, she's okay with where she's at, all of a sudden, why is she there? Does she not know where she's at, or is she unconsciously being controlled by Joni to infiltrate and to be like a little spy camera? That possibility exists too, doesn't it? See, we're all in creation for one reason, to wake up and recognize the is. So while we're in creation, all these funny things happen and things become created, etc. So we're in a cabal system. Everybody's a spy, aren't they? So again, I'm not saying it's that, but everybody has free will, and there's a whole array of variables there too. Things look good, then all of a sudden they start to get funny. So again, that possibility exists too. So, But in the beginning, our personal self takes it a particular way. Oh, this person wants to know what we're doing. That's why they want to be our friends. So we first think the comfort thought, don't we? But then as we go further, the personal self is going, oh no, it can't be that. Oh no, it can't be that either. Oh no, can it? Yes, it can. It can be a lot more than what you're seeing. Are you ready? It's all a wake up, isn't it? Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, thank you, Duane. I never saw it from that angle. I only have had the comfort thought. I think what you're saying is very plausible. There are many spies out there, and even some who are already in some of the groups. They bring about arguments. They post things that are contrary to what we are doing. They try to propagate the hue, and they talk about Harold, especially in the Congo group there. So there's some people there like that, but maybe the thing they are coming to contaminate or to do whatever, but they will not live untainted because they will surely get something from what we are presenting.
Here's another idea, Charles. Keep in mind that there will always be people that want to be controlled by others because they're rule lovers. They feel the authority knows what they're doing and they don't know what they're doing, so they will gladly obey. Look at it all. Look at the governments that hire mercenaries and whatever for money, you see? And it just depends upon the intent. Would you do that for money? I wouldn't. I doubt if you would too, but there are people that will do it for money. They'll do anything. And money is a control factor in this world. So these individuals may not know exactly what they're doing, but they're there and they're doing certain things. And just like you're saying, they're all of a sudden in there. And is it that they're really looking for the freedom that they imply or the spiritual freedom or whatever that they're implying? No, because actually these are people that like to be controlled by restrictions and authorities. That's why they keep bringing up the God idea, etc. They like being controlled. And until that person really wants to be free of all those things, because that's our position, the real universe is, it's a real recognition, and it's not according to the God worlds chart that Paul created. That was just a hint at something, not the reality. But people are thinking that, oh, I'm focused on the Anami or the 11th level. No, that's a mental, emotional idea. That's all that is. That's not a real recognition. And by the very fact of what they demonstrate, they don't want real freedom, do they? They want restriction because they keep implying restriction, don't they, Charles?
That's right. Okay, Duane, thank you. I have another question. From my understanding of the East, it may not be adequate enough, but I come to the conclusion that the new nowness that life is comprises the best that life can offer at this moment in time and space. And and if you take it in a generalized way, the best that life can offer is here and now, at this moment. And you are there to expound on the isness, but we find you many times looking at the past, like you like to talk about the Indians, where the Indians doing this or doing that as to justify to justify the present. So I thought maybe the best references that you can make are of the here and now. So why do you look back when life is an isness? Yeah, Duane.
Well, it's very simple, Charles, because we're going through our process with these five bodies, and we need these five bodies to go through this process, which is huge. That's why it takes so many lifetimes. And even just because you've come here doesn't mean that you're just about there. No, it could take a million more lifetimes. Whatever it takes, that's what it takes. And the thing is that people need references, and it's not the past. When I'm using something that's supposedly in the past, it is not. That is not the reference. To the personal self, people see it as the past. I don't see it like that. It's like standing in the library and it's like, okay, I'm going to pull that reference book out and I'm going to read something from here that relates to what we've all experienced as an example, which is in the present, which is in the nowness. So it's a step. We have present, you have nowness, you have isness, okay? And these things are their own reality. Now, if I just relate to the isness, it's more than the rays of the sun, okay? Because that's just a demonstration. And are you going to understand that? No. So I got to break it down, don't I? So that's why I use that as a reference, because that's what you need. So you take it in a particular content, and it's really not that, because you're really not seeing what I'm referring to. It's more than that. You always have to look for the more position. What else could it be besides what is said and even demonstrated? Just like the sun. I use that as an example. Learn to recognize what the sun is demonstrating. So, you know, maybe people can see, well, gee, the sun is shining. Yeah, well, that is what it's demonstrating. But actually, no, there's more than that. But can you see it? So, yes, these things are needed, because it shows what you've been through compared to what you're going through now and what you're deciding now. And so again, we're all in creation. What's the bigger picture? We're all in creation to recognize the is, not get somewhere. That's not the idea. You're not going anywhere. It's like the moonwalk. You're not going anywhere. It's all an isness to be recognized. But in the past, or the ideas you've come through, or the experiences, you're thinking that you're getting somewhere. You're growing, you're unfolding, you're becoming more spiritual. All these are ideas. That's all they are. You can write them down. You can write them in sentences, and you're reading words. That's all it is. It's not the reality of what the isness is. So yes, the reason I do these things and I see them how you might say the is sees it, but you know, it is just, the is just what it is. And so it's not that we're going to get something from the is. That's illusion. This is the old ways that people have come to know. These are the old experiences, but we need to see the difference. And then to recognize that isness, realistically, you start to utilize something as a comparison, but actually you have no comparison. You have to get to that point where you just see it for what it is. But in the meantime, yes, this is needed, just like we're on the Skypes here. These things are needed. And just like, you know, you started off with the first question in this gal thinking that, okay, you know, whatever you thought with the relationship because she's an ekist, etc. But then again, I provided more of a view. While all of a sudden now, excuse me, you're all of a sudden now you realize, that's the first step. Wow, there can be more to this experience than what I see. You see, looking for that part of it that you don't see. So when I use these things as an example, they are in a comparison in their own way with what is going on now, but at the same time learning to see what you haven't seen so far. So it's all very necessary, because you need that, you know, in other words, day to night, right to wrong, up and down, etc. You need these comparisons so you know that you're up or you know that you're down. So if you're up there, standing on a ledge, you know that you're up, because if you take one step, all of a sudden you're down and you can get hurt. So it's good to know that you're up, right? Well, in creation, that's how it is. We need these things in creation. We need this little self to a point to where we don't need it, but in the meantime, we do need these things. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.